Hi there, this is Group 5. We are here to present our course project, The Jungle Game. In this presentation, we will briefly talk about important design decision, largest change on API, lesson we've learned, and also at the end, there will be a Q&A session. So first, let's talk about important design decision. In the jungle game, we designed the class of squares to instantiate every square on the board, and we designed the animal class to instantiate every animal on the board. The squares and animals on the board both have coordinate properties. The squares coordinate correspond to their position on the board, and the animals coordinate correspond to the animal's position on the board. When we realized that the function of outputting the chessboard, we found that the board was not well associated with the animal on the chessboard. We can now obtain information on whether each grid contains animals and the constant time complexity. Therefore, we add animal attributes to the square class to store the current animal. When the animal moves into a square, we modify the coordinates of the animal and remove the animal from the previous square and add it to the new square. When we need to print out the chessboard, we simply call the animal properties in each square to get the square information. And then let's talk about largest change on API. The largest change is that we discarded the field is in river, is in trap, and is in den of class animal. The main reason that we discard those three fields is that in our design, each piece that is the instance of animal is bounded to a square that is standing on. We can simply call the getType function inside square class to get the equivalent information. So it's not helpful to add them in this part. Also, the second point is comparing to simply call for the square type. It is much more complex to change those three fields after each movement. We believe that less modification may lead to less potential faults. The last reason is only for is in river. In this game, only the rat instance can swim into river, so this field for the other 7 kinds of pieces are meaningless. It is not reasonable that the abstract class for all A instances have a field for only one of them. And then let's talk about lesson we've learned. So first, about diagram. Diagram that demonstrates the relation and collaborations among the code's components really help us to make our code logic clear. We get to know the importance and necessary of all the preparation works before starting code. Besides that, the diagram also benefits of group cooperation, which, to be specific, help us to distribute work properly, be clear about whose code to match. And when conducting API design, we try to use MVC model for development. In the process of using MVC model, we need to think about which component of the model should each method be placed in and measure whether such a design is reasonable. And about unit testing. Although our tests cover most of the function that need to be tested, some tests contains relatively few cases, and it is difficult to detect errors out of the coverage of these cases. For unit testing, we should try to make our test cases cover all the possible usage. This can help to check whether the code implementation is correct. And then let's move to the Q&A session. That's all. Thank you.